Hey guys, what's up? Today I'll be doing my top 10 best JRPGs on the PlayStation 4 and or the Nintendo Switch. But this is gonna be very interesting because I'm doing 3 top 10s in one. The 10 best turn-based JRPGs, also 10 best action JRPGs, and also 10 best strategy JRPGs. The best of the best are in this video. So let's begin! First of all, absolutely no remakes, no remasters, and no ports of any kind. Okay, let's start with turn-based RPGs, and we got on number 10 Octopath Traveler. A revolutionary RPG that established the nowadays popular HD 2D graphic style. It's also a very well written and mature story with 8 different protagonists, each with their own several chapters. It is perhaps one of the biggest grind fests of the last decade, but with amazing combat, music, and traditional gameplay mechanics. Nowadays, this is on all modern systems. Moving on to action JRPGs, number 10 is going to be Granblue Fantasy Relink. A pretty modest game here that spent many years in development. I say modest because story turned out just okay, being another tale in the same universe, but the combat was ridiculously good with near perfect controls for most characters out there. Gameplay is repetitive, but since the combat is awesome, you look forward to every mission. Beautiful graphics and good music, too bad for the censorship in the girls, even in Japan, believe it or not. Anyway, this is on PS4, PS5 and Steam only. For strategy RPGs, number 10 is this Gaia 5. If I had to choose one this Gaia game available on PS4 and Switch, it will be this one. I think it's the most accessible one despite still being very grindy. I like its style a bit more over the others, and I think the 2 main characters are funnier and likable. Yeah, it's a good this Gaia for beginners. It's still gonna kick your ass though. Number 9 for turn-based is Dragon Quest XI. A great big and long adventure with a very traditional combat, not as grindy or hard as its predecessors, except in the post-game of course. Beautiful visuals and memorable soundtrack accompany this intriguing story, exploration and gameplay mechanics. Another RPG in all modern systems. Number 9 for action is Astral Chain. A Switch exclusive, an action RPG with great visuals, music and story. The unique concept of playing as a futuristic police detective performing investigations was cool. Combat was a bit messy, hard to get into, but very fun nonetheless, controlling your character in a bunch of switchable legions. These games got a lot of personality, I love it. Number 9 for strategy JRPGs, 13 Sentinels. Half an interactive visual novel where you make decisions following a deep and complex narrative between 13 different characters, half a real-time strategy RPG where you control several mechs, destroying approaching enemies and defending key positions. Sadly, this game was a victim of politicized localization, but it's still one of Vanillaware's best games available on PS4 and Switch. Number 8 for turn-based, Eiyuden Chronicle 100 Heroes. The long-awaited Suikoden spiritual successor with gorgeous graphics, art style and music composed by both Motoi Sakuraba and Michiko Naruke. All 3 battle systems are great, especially its turn-based combat with a twist. Solid story here, too bad it was butchered by 505 Games, but this is still a great game to play, available on all modern platforms. Number 8 for action, Tales of Arise. The latest main entry in the Tales series, a good story with some mature and dark themes to it, with characters fighting for freedom. Fantastic graphics, decent music, traditional gameplay and exploration. Combat was pretty darn good too, with responsive controls and several combination attacks, but it's a very challenging game. It's everywhere except the Switch. 8 for strategy RPGs, Brigandine, Legend of Runersia. This hidden gem is a follow-up to another one on the PS1, but completely standalone. Once again, you choose one nation to initiate a campaign to conquer all the others. Very good storytelling here despite the type of gameplay mechanics it's got, but it's basically a grid-based strategy RPG where you control all types of creatures in different skirmishes out there. Great game, high replay value. This is available only on PS4 and Switch. Turn-based number 7, Persona 5. Definitely the most popular JRPG in today's video, a game that threw the series into massive worldwide success. It's great, it's long, it's challenging, it's addicting. Music and graphics are an absolute treat here. Vanilla version is only on PS3 and 4 though, but the Royal Edition is anywhere nowadays. Action RPGs number 7, Star Ocean: The Divine Force. A slightly better action RPG than Tales of Arise is this one, the 6th main entry in the series. While the graphics were a bit blurry, the world still looked fantastic, as did the characters themselves. Great fast-paced action RPG, but quite technical at the same time. Great music, controls, exploration. Yeah, this is one of the best in the series, if not the best. Another RPG that's everywhere except the Switch. Number 7 for tactical games, Uta Warenumono Mask of Truth. The third and final game in the obscure trilogy of visual novel strategy RPGs. These are way too heavy on the reading though, just so you know, but have amazingly written stories with mature themes and several plot twists. Yeah, despite being full of slice of life shenanigans too. Love the combat in all 3 of them, especially the last 2. Yeah, you can tell this spot belongs to the entire trilogy and not just Mask of Truth. PS4, PS Vita and Windows only, no Switch version yet. Turn-based number 6, Jakuza Like a Dragon. The start of a new saga. Now a fully fledged turn-based RPG with very fun combat. Killer story, mature and dark with great narrative and memorable characters. Its semi-open world features are addicting as hell with so much stuff to do out there. This game is surprisingly good, available everywhere except the Switch. Number 6 for action JRPGs, Code Vein. Criminally underrated action RPG with Souls-like combat. Love the gothic themes, the dark and twisted story, the God Eater references, and of course, the fan service. Dramatic music, superb visuals, great controls during combat, a very solid challenge. Again, no Switch release for this one, but it's on PS4, Xbox One, and Steam. Strategy JRPGs number 6, Redemption Reapers. A heavily overlooked tactical RPG, dark, tragic, depressing, within a dark fantasy setting. A group of mercenaries trying to win the war against these bloodthirsty creatures. Simple combat, yet engaging, and with a small twist for joint attacks. It's a great game found today everywhere, except for Xbox. Number 5 for turn-based JRPGs, Like a Dragon, Infinite Well. The direct sequel, now bringing back the main character of all the previous games. After several hours of story and gameplay, you'll be switching between both protagonists and their parties in Hawaii and Tokyo, respectively. It's an incredible follow-up with awesome gameplay and killer soundtrack, also available everywhere except the Switch. Action JRPGs number 5, Tales of Berseria. This is one of my favorite Tales games ever. Everyone knows already the tragic story of Velvet and her quest for revenge alongside a band of basically anti-heroes and unusual characters. Awesome graphics, music, and especially combat. Combo-based, closer to a classic 3D beat-em-up, uncontrollable, chaotic, it's very fun. However, outside of Japan, this is only on PS4 and Steam, remember that. Number 5 strategy JRPGs, the Diofield Chronicle. Like most strategy JRPGs, this is very underrated. A real-time strategy monster that's incredibly addictive. 4 playable characters in battle, being able to switch to 4 more, and a variety in mission objectives. Mercenaries forming an army to fight the oppressive invaders. Plot is good, with solid development and an unexpected ending. This underdog can be found everywhere nowadays. Turn-based number 4, Trails of Cold Steel 4. The 4th episode that concludes the phenomenal Cold Steel saga and the best of them all. Yes, it is necessary to play all the others to understand and fully enjoy this one. But it's the best because the conclusion is incredibly executed with all its different plot twists, badass music and battle system here. This is on PS4, PS5, Switch, and Steam. Action JRPGs number 4, Nier Automata. Released nowadays on all modern systems, this is a legendary action RPG that sold millions. With its insanely dark and messed up story, its plot twists, and its alluring fan service, Automata also offered incredible combat, different endings, playable characters, and an overly beautiful soundtrack. Number 4 for strategy, Unicorn Overlord. Another one from Vanillaware, and actually the latest. Huge game, campaign driven, playing as a liberation army, a variety in gameplay mechanics from exploration to recruitment to intense real-time battles. It's an absolute must play, and praising the visuals and art style from this company never gets old. Available in all modern consoles but no Steam release yet. Turn-based JRPGs number 3, Trails into Reverie. In terms of story, Cold Steel 4 is better, but I feel in everything else Reverie is the winner. It's what I consider nowadays as the best Trails game ever made. The gameplay divided into different points of view with different parties, the masterpiece that is the battle system, the graphics, and the mind-blowing soundtrack. What a great way to end a whole saga. Number 3 for action JRPGs is 8, Lacrimosa of Dana. The legendary Is A that everyone's acquainted with nowadays, the one that threw the long-running series into success finally. I never get tired of praising the music, the graphics, the exploration and the combat. But also the story and the dual protagonist feature never seen before in any Is game. Well, Is 10 is coming up with only 2 protagonists, so anyway, this is available everywhere nowadays, even freaking phones, except for Xbox. Three for strategy, Fire Emblem 3 Houses. The innovative Fire Emblem that mixed classic grid-based combat with school simulation, but more like army simulation. Gorgeous graphics, solid soundtrack, addicting gameplay, and a story with 3 different routes and endings, each with its own time jump. This is one of the best in the series, honestly, but as you may have guessed, it's a Nintendo Switch exclusive. Moving on to number 2 for turn-based JRPGs with Shin Megami Tensei 5. Initially a Switch exclusive, now available basically everywhere with the Vengeance Edition, this one has incredibly addicting gameplay mechanics with free exploration, different major cities to visit, and the classic Mega 10 battle mechanics with a brutal challenge. Music is absolutely untouchable here, it's perfect. But do yourself a favor and play this game with the Japanese dub. Number 2 for action RPGs is 9 Monstrum Nox. I'm glad this game came out of the underrated shadow, as it is much more appreciated now as opposed to before. It's excellent with a darker and edgier story. Combat was improved, but to a more intense and fast-paced style. I love everything about this masterpiece. Available everywhere too nowadays except Xbox consoles. Strategy JRPGs number 2, Valkiria Chronicles 4. This game takes place within the same universe as the others, the same war, but in a different part and with different characters. Some stupid political nonsense was there in the localization, but nowhere near as bad as other modern JRPGs. Great gameplay mechanics and combat, quite similar to the ones in the legendary first game, extremely unique and just as addictive to play. This is a masterpiece on PS4, Switch, Xbox One, and Windows. And number 1 for turn-based JRPGs, Octopath Traveler 2. Well, I opened the turn-based list with the first one, so I don't know, let's end it with the second one. Both are just as great with unique storytelling, beautiful soundtrack, graphics, and addicting gameplay mechanics, but I found this to be better only by a hair, because while still grindy, it's just not as grindy as its predecessor. That's all. Available in all modern platforms nowadays. Action JRPGs number 1, Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Here's another Switch exclusive, the best in the series and also the longest. Powerful narrative with confronting modern issues, 2 trios of opposing characters fighting together for freedom. Mind-blowing combat, one of the most unique and addicting I've ever seen. It's become one of my favorites ever. No need to praise the music, you already know it's top tier. And finally, number 1 for strategy JRPGs, Triangle Strategy. The king of tactical RPGs of this modern day and age is Triangle Strategy, a game with multiple routes and endings where your decisions matter and your choices involve your playable characters. HD 2D graphics are a treat, of course. Fantastic grid-based combat, challenging, tactical. It is imperative to play this game if you like strategy JRPGs. It's only on Switch and Steam for now. And that's it, everybody. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and share this video with your friends. See you next time!